Illinois. It was also his birthday today. It also is his birthday today. So we want to celebrate that. We want to raise awareness to that. It's also Mikey Sago's birthday. We have a memorial for down there. He was murdered. He was murdered in Marie's Pizza by Winnebago County Sheriff's Deputy. So we want to pay tribute. We want to pay tribute to his birthday today as well. It's a very heavy moment. I had written something I usually try to write before I speak, but in the moment it just don't feel right to be trying to look down at my phone or look down at a notepad and speak. We came out here 196 days ago when after Tyrus Jones was shot. Tyrus Jones was shot while he was running away. Tyrus Jones was shot by Officer Dominic McNeese. The police officer who shot Tyrus Jones was involved with some of the arrests that took place at City Market over the spring and the summer. I'm not sure how many people were able to pay attention to the protests that took place last spring and summer, but the officer, Dominic McNeese, was involved in those protests. Officer Owen McGinnis, who shot Jose, he also was involved in those protests earlier in the summer. On May 30th, he assaulted somebody. We wrote an expose that we sent out over the internet that we made pamphlets of, and I'm not sure how many people here are aware of everything that's been going on in the city, but the city and the police and the county, they all watched our Facebook pages very closely, so they seen that we spoke about Owen McGinnis assaulting people at May 30th and falsely arrested somebody on May 30th. They also seen that we spoke about him assaulting somebody prior and being named in a lawsuit prior. And no reprimand was done to this officer. There was no accountability for this officer, and so he continued in his actions. And for people who maybe aren't aware of why we're in front of City Hall, that's one of the reasons we're in front of City Hall, because initially it may be one police officer doing an action, and then initially it may be just one police department covering up that action. But then you get to a place where the city covers up for the police department. Excuse me, you get to a place where the city covers up for the police department and the county covers up for the deputy's office. And so we have to address not just one institution, but all the institutions that continue to perpetuate this violence onto the community. I want people to know too, I know that in other cities there may be more people in volume, there may be more people numerically, but it is power in the people that's here. It's power in the people that have been here for 196 days, the people who have helped to provide for the people that's been here. It's power in the people who pass by here and who ask questions. It's power in the people who pass by here and say disparaging remarks. I want people to remember that too when you're on Facebook. It's power in people feeling the need to go out of their way to leave disparaging remarks and to try to criminalize and to try to shape the narrative. It's because they see that community-wide and nationwide that people are waking up to the fact that it is nothing that anybody deserves to do to get shot. It doesn't, running away is not a reason for someone to be shot. Being inside of their home and trying to defend themselves is not a reason for someone to be shot. Being arrested in their past is not a reason for someone to be shot. The color of someone's skin is not a reason for someone to be shot. The amount of money or the community that someone lives in or the kind of car that they're driving is not a reason for someone to be shot. And we have heard time and time again excuses for our children and our brothers and our sisters being shot and gunned down in the streets, and you can tell that there is a shift taking place. It won't take place without us fighting for it. It won't take place without us struggling for it. It won't take place without, unfortunately, more families having to feel these things. This is the fourth family, that we've been in contact with, from Tyrus Jones's family to Denzel Duvant's family, who's on the sign back over there, and to now Jose's family, and hopefully we can be in contact, in closer contact with Faustin's family. But that's four families in the span of 197 days who have all been touched by this trauma, who have all been touched by this pain. And so it's a reminder that no matter where you are, no matter how far away you are, no matter what life you think you have lived, no matter how removed you may feel that you are, that this can happen to any of us. We have white people on these poles. We have black people on these poles. We have men on these poles. We have women on these poles. We have elderly people. We have young people. We have teenagers on these poles. So we can touch anybody. So what we want to do is we're going to go down to Jovan's memorial. And we're going to sing happy birthday to Jovan. Then we're gonna go down to Mikey Sago's memorial. We're gonna sing happy birthday to Mikey Sago. And then we're gonna come down here at the end and we're gonna have a moment to raise awareness and to honor Jose and to make sure that we are happy that he is still alive and he is still breathing, that he can continue on with his life. But we also want to have a moment of silence for Faustin, who unfortunately did not survive and who cannot continue on with his life. But we want to make sure, again, there's power in us remembering each one of these memorials. If anybody has time later on or later on tonight before they leave, there's memorials for people who have been killed by the Rockford Police Department and died in custody in the Winnebago County Jail or killed by the Metro Enforcement Agency all around City Hall. The years span from the 1990s all the way to 2020 is the most recent one. And whenever we put Faustin's up, that'll be 2021. I want people to go around and to see those things. I want when you leave here to go and have conversations. I want you to make sure that you never let anybody forget Tyrus Jones' name. You never let anybody forget Denzel Duvant's name. You never let anybody forget Jose Gonzalez's name or Faustin Guetigo's name or Jovan Fresco's name or Mikey Sago's name or any of the names of these people that's on here. Because each person that goes through this and each family that goes through this, whether we understand it now or not, that is one family that's going through it to get us closer to it ending. So we have to embrace the people who are going to be the reason that these things end. And that's somebody screaming for us right there. That's Black Lives Matter. All right, so we're gonna gather up and we're gonna walk down over to the memorial over there. And we'll meet here tomorrow too for anybody who may leave before you get a chance to have a reminder. We'll meet here tomorrow at 4 o'clock and we'll rally here and we're gonna march from here too. So. And we have flyers that we'll hand out to people as well. So if everybody has a candle, we just gonna sort of get information and walk across here to the Jovan's memorial, and then we'll sing happy birthday over there. We give everybody a chance to get in line over here. And if you don't have a candle or you want a candle, just let us know. We can give you one of these candles in the cup.
Not tonight. Yeah.
Right here. Don't move.
You can hold this for a second.
And if anybody needs to, we got a little extra room down here if anybody want to come on this side over here too. We got some extra room down here. And for anybody who don't know, again, we have these memorials down here. They're down here all the time. You can feel free to come and bring flowers, bring candles, bring anything that you need down here. Okay, and I want to have Jovan's mother's gonna come up here real quick. But this is another thing that I want to do is since I've met Mrs. Rosie, she has been constantly strong. She's been constantly resolute. And the amount of strength that I get every time I have a conversation with her, every time she sends me a message, it keeps me going to know that for 5 years, it's been 5 years, and the men who murdered her son still have not had trial. They still have not faced proper justice. 5 years and she still fights. She still fights like it just happened yesterday. She still is energized like it just happened yesterday. And I sometimes I feel like I'm worn down, and I think about how she fighting, and I see her talk and make a video, and it reminds me that I got a lot left in the tank, and I'm just getting started. So I want her to come up here, and I want again, we need to pay attention to this trial when it starts the same way that we paying attention to this Derek Chauvin trial. We need to pay attention to this trial the same way. Down here at this courthouse, we'll have events, we'll have dates, we'll post that online publicly, and we need to have that same attention to this in our own city.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Last night I didn't sleep at all, but I know who my strength comes from. My strength comes from the Lord. And you know, I wanted them so bad to have this trial so fast. I wanted this trial so fast, but we got to let God order our steps. And now that God done ordered my steps, now they're seeing how the police and the police really are. See, if this would have happened 5 years ago, them guys probably would have walked free. But today, we're seeing what they're doing to our children. And they will not get away from it. The Lord told me, when this first happened, I said, God, why me? He said, why not you? And I didn't get it then. But then Castile in Minnesota had to die. Because my baby died April the 16th. They didn't charge them to July the 7th when that mother lost a child. So now it's like an unbroken chain. We all got to get together. We got to fight. We had to make awareness. We got to talk about this. We can't run from this. This is real. This is true. And if we keep on fighting and we let them know that it's true, it won't be another Jovan. It won't be another Mr. Right. It won't be no mother, your son or your brother. We need to fight for this. See, when I first started this, I said, Lord, why me? Like I said, he said, why not you? So now I got my coat on, I got my shoes on, and I'm ready for the fight. And now, happy birthday to Jovan.
Yes.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jovan. Happy birthday to you.
And I thank you, Lord, for letting me carry my baby and letting me have my baby. They took him on the same day I gave birth to him. The same day I gave birth to him, he died. 5 years. And we will never forget his name. Say his name, Valente Jovan Fresco. We'll never forget his name as long as I got breath in my body.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a chant. I'll say his name, and y'all say Jovan, all right? Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
All right, I need it louder than that. One more time. Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
All right, we're gonna go down to Mikey.
You too. Come
All
on.
right, let's be safe. We got the wall. Hold on, I think they got the green. We're gonna let them go by.
I don't want to be the one who leads the way.
Okay, again, as we walk by, we're gonna pass by Demetrius Memorial. Let's let them get a red coming up here.
Josh.
There you go. We haven't had the best of luck with confidence. Okay. All right, let's do it. All right, we're going to walk down to Michael Sago. Michael Sago and Jovan shared a birthday. We're going to sing happy birthday down here. Michael's a memorial too. It's a couple of Jose signs right here. If anybody want to pick up those signs, feel free. It's a couple of Jose signs right here to the side. Again, these memorials are all up and down the street. We want people to come out anytime and pay attention to these memorials. You can leave flowers anytime. You can come down and leave stuffed animals. There are times when the police and the city remove the memorials. We always put them back up. They'll always go back up. So please, anytime come by, take a look. Please look up these names when you get a chance. Oh yeah, please look up these names when you get a chance. We want people to be informed. It's power and knowledge. It's power and information. Again, we outside of City Hall every day. Every day. Raising awareness. City market starts May 21st. That's the first city market. Okay, here we go. We gotta let everybody gather up around here.
Stay by TT.
There's a lot of these.
Oh, I got one with a short string. Okay, just stay right here, okay, babe?
On the 2011.
Okay, I don't think Mikey's family's here right now today.
I haven't seen nobody.
Yeah, we did a spring refreshing 2 weeks ago. At the spring refreshing, Mikey's family came out, his mother came out, and his sisters donated some money for us to get some flowers and stuffed animals. So they were here recently and left some things here. For anybody who doesn't know, Michael Sago Jr. was killed. So many dates, October 1st, 2011. Again, I think one of the things we want to highlight is as these things start to happen, the connections that we all have, especially in a city that's as small as Rockford. You know, Rockford's a big city, but it's a small town. And Mikey Sago's birthday is the same day as Jovan's birthday. Mikey Sago was shot and murdered a day before Tyrus Jones was shot, which will be 2 days before we came out here initially for the occupation. And so as you go down and walk all of these memorials and you read these stories and you start to see police officers' names repeatedly, you start to see the mayor that we have now has been a mayor for 4 years. He also was an alderman. You start to see how many people have been involved and complicit in these things happening continuously. And so even though a lot of these things can be heavy, I think that is power in all of that. It's power in us knowing that on October 1st, Mikey Sago was killed. On October 2nd, Tyrus Jones was shot. On October 3rd, we came out here for the occupation. It's power in knowing all of these dates. It's power in these things compounding because it reminds us that we are more alike than we are different. And it reminds us that we have to look into those differences. I think that we have to get to a place as a community where we're looking into our differences and not trying to look away from them or pretend that they don't exist. And so we're gonna sing happy birthday to Mikey Sago. We don't got his nobody from his family up here. I don't got the greatest voice, but I'll lead us. All right. Okay, we going. She's sending the cupcake down. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mikey. Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. All right. We're gonna go back up here, and then we'll have a moment of silence up here in the front of City Hall for Faustin Guetigo. All right. And if anybody wanna come by and take pictures or anything like that, feel free. We'll get up there, and we'll wait a second for everybody to meet us back up there. If you need water or anything like that, we got some water bottles. We will have more things, but the police come in and take stuff in the middle of the night. Again, we're going to meet back here again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We're going to rally at 4 o'clock back here. Make sure that you're keeping up. The state attorney said that they're going to have a press conference every 2 weeks. We're gonna have a press conference every 2 weeks as well. Make sure that you're keeping up with the release of information. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to each of these things as they happen. They released the video, the dash camera video, in the case involving Jose. We still have not had the dash camera video released in the case involving Tyrus, which is a hypocrisy. It's a reminder that they're not releasing the dash camera video footage in an effort of transparency or in an effort to try to start solving wrongs. They're doing it in an effort to try to cover up their tracks in an effort to make it seem like nothing incorrect happened, to give the illusion of transparency. And so because of each of our jobs, whether it's on social media with hashtags, whether it's having conversations with people in person, whatever it is, we want to make sure that just the way that people know about Adam Toledo and that people was ready to see that video when Adam Toledo was, what happened to Adam Toledo in Chicago, we need the video of Faustin Guetigo to be released in the same manner. We need people to be paying attention when that happens. Too many times in Rockford, these things happen and it only happens in Rockford and nobody sees it outside of Rockford, and that's how we end up in this place. So. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is what we'll try to do. We're gonna go ahead and we'll start this moment of silence, and what we can do is anybody that has a candle, feel free, or flowers or anything like that, feel free to come up here and leave it here or take a picture or anything like that, or pay your respects. And then we're just gonna let this moment of silence linger for a little bit. If anybody wants to come up here and take pictures, if anybody wants to come and leave their candle or leave anything or just have a moment, feel free, and we're just gonna let this moment of silence sit for a second, all right? Again, this is in memory of Faustin Guetigo, who was murdered inside of his home by the Winnebago County Sheriff Deputies last Saturday.
The Jose family like a balloon? Anybody? Here, Jackson, hang on to it. Come here. Hang on, don't let it go. Put it down. Put it down, baby.
start the moment of silence.
I thought I did. Oh, you got one.
You're supposed to
I gotta do it again.
bow your head and
Oh, like a prayer.
that's typically how the moment of silence works.
You're right.
No, just been silent.
So I should do the prayer.
I don't know that. You know.
It's about the prayer.
Terry?
No, not Terry. Just like
Okay, I don't think we need to do the prayer, but
it's a quiet moment of silence. Quiet. Okay.
Okay, now that we got the candles all up here, let's have a collective moment of silence. We just hold it for a few minutes here. Just in this moment, try to think about where you were at when you saw the video of George Floyd being murdered. Try to think about where you were at when the protest started for George Floyd being murdered. Then think about where you were at when you heard about Tyrus Jones being shot. Think about where you were at the first time you may have seen Denzel Duvon's face. And then think about where you were at or what you were doing this weekend when Faustin Guetigo was shot and murdered. This weekend when Jose was shot. This weekend when Dante Wright was shot and murdered. And then yesterday when they released the video of Adam being shot and murdered. Just think about those things for a moment, and we're just gonna have a silence for a few minutes. Okay. Let's we got some people here, and while we got some people here, let's go around and do a walk for anybody that's got it in them. We go around, we do a walk, we do a tour of Say Their Name Square. Let's let people see some more people's faces, see some more of these dates, and while we all in this place right now. So this is what we'll do. Which way we think the safest route? This way?
I would still go that way.
This way? Okay, That's what we're gonna do. For anybody that's up to it and that's willing to do it, we'll leave these here. I'm sure we got somebody that can stay watch for this here. Anybody that's willing, we gonna walk around, Say Their Name Square. We gonna stop at each one of the memorials that we have. We'll say the name for each person. We'll say the date for each person. And if anybody wants to take pictures or anybody wants to take a video or anything like that, feel free to do that. But while we're all here, let's have a reminder of how many people this has affected, how many families have been touched by this. There you go. All right, let's do this before you walk away too. I'll say his name, and then y'all say Faustin, okay? Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
Okay, we missed Mikey too. That's my fault. Let's do that one more time. Let's do it for Mikey. Y'all say his name. Y'all say Mikey. Say his name.
Mikey.
Say his name.
Mikey.
Say his name.
Mikey.
Say his name.
Mikey.
All right, let's do it. This is what we do. We do that at everybody memorial too. There we go. Okay. All right, we're gonna take our time. We let everybody get to the memorials. Again, we got a few chairs here. We will have more chairs. The police took some of the chairs.
A lot of them.
The police took a lot of the chairs. We will have more chairs, but anybody that want to sit down, feel free to get a chair and sit down.
So anyway, it's okay.
And then I'll just talk for a second. Again, anybody who may need to leave or anything, anybody that got something to do, you can feel free to do that. If you want to take pictures, we just gonna go around and give everybody a tour, let everybody see some of these names. And then after that, we'll wrap it up. And anybody that want to leave, go ahead. Again, if anybody got something they need to do, anybody need to go to their cars, that's fine, that's free, that's cool. We just gonna do a tour. So we in this moment, we need to be reminded of exactly how many families, how many people have been touched by this. So again, these memorials aren't in chronological order. This is Demetrius Bennett.
I can do.
Here, I'm gonna actually let somebody else do this part that knows more than me.
This was Demetrius Bennett. He was killed November 1st, 2012. He was killed inside his own home. I believe he was 31 years old, had a family, had a wife, had a couple kids. This is a father that was lost. We're going to go into the same thing, say his name, and go Demetrius Bennett. Say his name.
Demetrius Bennett.
Say his name.
Demetrius Bennett.
Say his name.
Demetrius Bennett.
One more time. Say his name.
Demetrius Bennett.
All right, let's go. Go up this way. In total, we got 14 different memorials up right now. 14 different memorials right now.
How you doing? Hi, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Hello, hi, how you doing? Hi, how you doing? Good. Hi, how you doing? What? How you doing? I should turn this around. Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I don't know. I'm doing.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. What about you? How you doing?
Same.
Nah, no, all the memorials are sort of on the insides. Tomorrow.
Oh shit. Hello, Rose. I see that you watching, Rose. We just had the memorial back over for Faustin. Anytime that you want to come out here, we have 425 East State Street, City Hall. We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to get into too much into your family's business. But we are standing in solidarity. We want to put a memorial up on one of these poles like we have for everybody else. So again, we don't want to be pushy or nothing like that. I see that you watch and I see that you like the page. We want to do anything that we can to help the family. So I'm happy to see that you watching. I'm truly, genuinely sorry for what it is that you're going through. We all are collectively sorry.
I found it.
What's up, man? How you doing? Old times.
Sorry, you didn't get me.
Okay, this is Philip Johnson. This is 2012. Again, we're out here. Say their name square. Ari's leading the tour. He's just explaining to people the names of people who have. Least we can do, Rose. The names of people who have been murdered by the police.
Coming up right here, we have Susan Bagley. She's a 52-year-old white woman murdered by Los police. This 52-year-old white woman murdered by Los Police. We're gonna go say her name, Suzette Babler. Say her name, Suzette Babler. Say her name.
Suzette Babler.
Say her name.
Suzette Babler.
Say her name.
Suzette Babler.
Real quick. Real quick. Okay. All right.
Better start getting your piano
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Just wait.
1 second, you'll make it. All right, you guys be careful over there. Yeah. We know. All right, man. Anybody watching this too? If you in traffic, man, just relax in traffic. We already done established this last year. It is no point for y'all to be on this with the traffic. I'm sorry, I didn't need to take no side. Anyways, okay.
All right, right here we have Jasper Banks, who was murdered by Rockford Police Department January 27th, 2007. Okay, real quick, I want to say this while it's on my mind. We have a pamphlet about some of the shootings that have occurred in Winnebago County that we have 50 copies, so if you want one of those copies that detail each shooting, we're going to have them right back in front again. So we're going to go, say his name, Jasper Banks. Say his name.
Jasper Banks.
Say his name.
Jasper Banks.
Say his name.
Jasper Banks.
Okay, we're going to keep moving down.
Okay, so what's up, man? I know. So we we down here in front of City Hall, 425 East State Street. Here I could. Rose, all right. Rose said thank you. She said thank you so much. Again, for anybody who may not know, Faustin Guetigo was murdered April 10th outside of his home here in Winnebago County. We're here just to try to raise awareness. Yeah, it's tricky walking with that. Trying to raise awareness and to make sure that these things aren't going forgotten, that these things are being remembered. April 11th, Jose Gonzalez was shot. Rockford Police Department officer Owen McGinnis.
Okay, right here we got Mark Anthony Barmore. He was murdered August 24th, 2009. This is one of the more bigger cases that had a lot bigger of public support of this death. So he was murdered in a church in a basement outside a daycare, in front of children. In front of children, this man was gunned down. So we're just gonna go, say his name, Mark Barmore. Say his name.
Mark Barmore.
Say his name.
Mark Barmore.
Say his name.
Mark Barmore.
Okay, we're gonna go again. We're gonna do it again for Jovan. We're gonna do it again for Jovan since he's right here.
Again, we just down here at Say Their Name Square.
This is Jovan Fresco. He was murdered by two Metro Enforcement agents. And this case is still ongoing. Like you said, the trial should be coming up during the summer. We're going to go say his name, Jovan. Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
Say his name.
Jovan.
All right, we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving. Right down over here.
Oh, it's a girl. Okay, finna have a
Wait
red.
for this light. Wait for this light. Cars.
Yeah.
Be careful driving. Cars be driving.
Okay. Again, we down here at Say Their Name Square outside of City Hall. This is Geno Washington's memorial. Again, it's a shame that there's so many of these memorials.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna get started right here. We have a memorial for Eugene Washington. He died inside the Winnebago County Jail. And as as is the case for so many of these faces and memorials we have up, the family has been given little information. What the family knows about this death, what the family has learned about this death has been from the same type of news articles that we've been reading. There's been a complete lack of transparency. The family is still unsure of how exactly he died. So we're gonna go say his name, Gino Washington. Say his name.
Gino Washington.
Say his name.
Gino Washington.
Say his name.
Gino Washington.
Okay, we're gonna wait for this light to go turn. We're gonna move down there. Okay.
Be careful, be careful. Oh, these cars so crazy.
I need flowers.
We don't have no flowers. Just for right now till we get over there. Okay?
Ah, he told on you.
Oh, I know.
See?
Come on, let's go. Now.
Okay, so we crossing over to the two memorials that's on the opposite side of East State Street and 2nd Street. Logan Bell and Carrie Blake.
Okay. We're right here at the memorial for Logan Bell, who was 18 years old when he was murdered. Similar to the case of LaFon McDonald, he was shot 16 times. 16 times. That's not something that's something done with malice. That's something done with evil heart. That's not something that's done for justice or any type of actual reason. That's something that's done with an evil heart. So we just go say his name, Logan Bell, 18 years old when he was killed. Say his name.
Logan Bell.
Say his name.
Logan Bell.
Say his name.
Logan Bell.
All right, this next one's right behind you. This next one's right behind you is Terry Blake. He was murdered December 30th, 2018. December 30th, 2018. But this was a start. There was 3 police shootings in 6 weeks rather. There was 3 police shootings in 6 weeks. This was the first one of the time period. And we had a memorial and vigil for his death. That when his death day passed, his latest year. So we're gonna go say his name, Carrie Blake. Say his name.
Carrie Blake.
Say his name.
Carrie Blake.
Say his name.
Carrie Blake.
Okay, we're gonna move down this way. It's a bit of a longer walk. I apologize.
This way. Jack.
Again, I think one of the things that we want people to understand is the gravity of these. These are all people who have families. These are people who had children. These are people whose lives impacted others' lives. And so these are all people who were their lives being taken away. It affected people. There's families. There may be one name that you see on these poles, but there's hundreds of names behind these poles who are affected. And there's thousands of people when you look at all of these things together. When you look at this whole memorial, let's say their name square. And again, the reason we put it down here in the heart of the city is because there's foot traffic here, there's people here all the time. The city has invested money and time into this area, and so we want to be in this area so that way when people come to tour Rockford or when people come to visit Rockford, that they see these things about Rockford.
50 incidences since 1990.
They should see these things.
50 incidences of deadly force used by police departments in Winnebago County. Every one, all 50 of them have been ruled justified. All 50 of them.
Again,
Coming up here, all 50 of them.
That's 50. That means 50 times. It's not too many things in your life you can do 50 times and never do wrong once. And that's statistically what they're saying, that 50 times.
Okay. Everybody catch up. So right here we have the latest memorial we have up. Hopefully we'll get one for Faustin. This is the memorial for Mikey Jovan. Ran down on August 20th. It was ran down August 23rd, 2020, by the South Florida Police Department. That, as is the case with all the other police shootings, That officer went back to work, no problem. No repercussions. This case was justified in early January. We're gonna go say his name, Mikey Guzman. Say his name.
Mikey Guzman.
Say his name.
Mikey Guzman. Mikey Guzman.
Move down. Right over here.
Okay, again, for anybody that's watching or just tuning in, where I say their name square, to honor all of these people, all of these people's families. I know these people, some people's families is watching online. I know that these people's families here in spirit. You know, we are few, but we are many, and I mean that genuinely. And this is what community looks like. You know.
Murder for Eddie Patterson. He was murdered November 5th, 2017. And again, I just want to say that once we get back up front, I would encourage everybody to either look up this name or to grab one of those pamphlets, grab one of those Winnebago County Integrity Task Force pamphlets to learn about each one of these shootings. So we're going to say his name, Eddie Patterson. Say his name.
Eddie Patterson.
Say his name.
Eddie Patterson.
Say his name.
Eddie Patterson.
We're going to move down right across the street right over here.
Again, this is it's a lot of cities that have police issues and have law enforcement mass incarceration issues. There is not a lot of cities where you could fill up the downtown light poles with memorials for people who have been murdered. And these are just people who have been murdered. This isn't even just everybody who's been touched by these things in general. And so I hope that the gravity and the amount of people that this affecting is really setting in on people.
Right here is a memorial for Joseph McCormick. He died December 1st, 2019. Similar to the case of Gina Washington, he died in the Winnebago County Jail. This is a little over a month between their deaths. I just take a second and think about how horrific those conditions are in the Winnebago County Jail, how cruel and unusual those conditions are in the Winnebago County Jail. And again, similar to Gina Washington, this family hasn't gotten no type of answers. Every time the family has to make the call, the family should never have to make the calls begging for answers. Okay, so we're going to say his name, Joseph McCormick. Say his name.
Joseph McCormick.
Say his name.
Joseph McCormick.
Say his name.
Joseph McCormick. Okay, I see Wax Arnetta. I see that you watching. We already went by Demetrius just a little bit ago, but we went by Demetrius. We did the same thing by his memorial. For anybody's families who watching, we went by Logan Bells. We went by Kerry Blake's. We went by Mikey Sago's. We went by Mikey Guzman's. Went by Mark Barmore. And so we just going by all the memorials, saying their names. Oh, we gotta go to the other side, don't we? Again, this past weekend, 2 more people were shot by law enforcement in this city. 2 more families were struck by police terrorism in this city. The mayor has only released Facebook posts. The county chairman, whose deputies murdered Faustin Guetigo, has said nothing of substance. And so here we are where, again, the city has shown how little they care about its citizens, how little it cares about people, the people who are victimized by this institution, by their institutions. My fault. Damn. Okay.
Okay. Okay, this is Shannon Graves, Ernest Shannon Graves. He was murdered June 25th, 2008. And like I had said for Mikey Guzman, this officer is still on the force. He got tased 3 different times. 3 different times Shannon Graves was tased. And that officer is still on the force. In fact, he was named in police reports in the assault of Denzel Jovan. So these aren't officers who are who the city hasn't complained about. These are officers who have terrorized the city for years for enacting these crimes of violence. These are cops that are known to have used excessive force, that are enacting these out and are protected by the police department, that are protected by the mayor, that are protected by everybody in that building over there. We're gonna go say his name, Shannon Graves. Say his name.
Shannon Graves.
Say his name.
Shannon Graves.
Say his name.
Shannon Graves.
Okay, we're gonna walk back to the front. We're gonna pass Mikey while we're up there, so we'll say his name for Mikey while we're up there.
Okay, again, this is outside. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is outside of 425 East State Street. It's outside City Hall. You know, it's by Fred's shop. It's by the Vintage Restaurant, Old City Hall Apartments. Please come to these memorials and look at these dates and look up these names. We have to get to a place where when these things happen that we get informed about them, we all know about them. We have to organize. And again, we're not here saying that we have all the answers. We're here just saying that we have to ask the questions and trying to ask the questions louder, and trying to make sure that in the midst of asking those questions that we remember the people who have been victimized and who have been traumatized, and the people who still every day, every time they have to open up a newspaper, see someone else shot by the police or someone else died in custody, or every time they have to turn on the news and watch the news and see a video of someone being killed or murdered, are reminded of the things that happened to their family members, are reminded of the things that happened to their loved ones, and are reminded that there has been no justice for them, and are reminded that the people who did these things, that it's known who did it, it's known, and that they're protected, and that they're back to work, they're collecting paychecks, they're being paid to enact these acts of terrorism onto us as community members. And so something has to change. I'm not sitting here saying I have the answers or we have the answers. What we're saying.
While we're right here, we're doing Mikey Sago. Mike Sago. Real quick, I just want to say he was 16 years old. 16 years old when he was murdered. Shot in the back, running away, crawling out the door. And the 3 other people he was with were also shot in the back. And those 3 other people are all still in prison. They were convicted of his death, even though he was shot and murdered. Like the 3 other people, they were convicted of his death. They were serving time in jail still for his death, even though they were all gunned down by police in the back. And that cop went on to win an award for his actions that night. Still on the force, tried to run for Rockford Township. So we're gonna go I'm gonna say his name, Mike Sago. Say his name.
Mike Sago.
Say his name.
Mike Sago.
Say his name.
Mike Sago.
And again, if you can, get a pamphlet when you're up front. We'll go back up front.
Okay, so that's the tour. Say their name square. We had the vigil. Faustin's wife Rose was on a live, watched the live, commented on a live. That definitely was very powerful and very important for us. So I'm gonna end this live. Actually, I don't think we did a say his name for Jose. Now that I think about it, right?
No. You do it.
Yeah, do it here. Okay. I feel like I shouldn't. I guess wait, what you finna say? I was gonna say what? You do one more, Jose and Faustin, and then wrap it?
Yeah.
Okay. You got it? Yeah, you got it. Oh, okay. All right, cool. I already got it. Oh, what are you doing?
Right, we got everybody here. We're gonna do real quick again. We're gonna do say his name. Say his name for Jose. So I'm gonna go say his name, Jose Gonzalez. Say his name.
Jose Gonzalez.
Say his name.
Jose Gonzalez.
Say his name.
Jose Gonzalez.
Say his name.
Jose Gonzalez.
All right, we're gonna go again for Faustin. So say his name, Faustin. Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
Say his name.
Faustin.
All right, thank you. Pamphlets are gonna pass out right now. And got one. Quick one.
All right, I'm gonna end
Thank
it.
you everybody for coming out. Thank you.